Greetings, fellow adventurers. I'm Max with Peak D&D.
And I'm Ben. Welcome to the Peak.
We're here in the Rocky Mountains helping you reach your peak in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons and life.
This week's episode is high-level content for people who already know and love D&D and want to add a +1 bonus to their real life.
If that's you, great. Let's roll some initiative and get to it.
We've already talked to you about the +1 you can get from saving throws in real life. And today we're going to do something similar with skill checks.
Taking your emails and taking your calls. Ignorant and uninformed.
What the f***? Can't believe it. You. I don't this mistress. What the sh**? Hasn't anyone ever told you it's rude to sneak up on a unicorn in its grove while it's enjoying its favorite podcast? Come to think of it, that's not even supposed to be possible. Who are you? Why are you here? What business do you have with Saint Gumdrop, Lollipop, Snugglyface, Tiny Pants? What? Yes, of course I have every right to use that title. I am a lawful good divine being, for Cuthbert's sake. I couldn't lie about that if I wanted to. What? No. Quite easy, really. I simply submitted the appropriate number of topics to Ignorant and Uninformed, and one day, a totally legit and valid certificate of sainthood magically appeared in my grove. Now be gone! Jeff was just starting to talk about how much he loves Omega!
Skill checks, you know, the other things you roll that aren't damage to hit or saves.
As a lawful good paladin who sometimes goes by the superhero moniker Captain Parameters, starting on the same page is important to me.
As you're likely aware, your character and all other characters you meet have skills. Skills that sometimes need to be checked.
Yeah, boy, Flavor Flav.
I don't even. How good you are or bad you are at them doesn't matter. The fact is, your character has skills.
Looking at your character sheet, your skills are located to the right of your main attributes.
If you hear that and you're like, what? Check out this.
Now, there are 18 skills, and like Max mentioned, your character has them all.
How good your character is at any particular skill depends on a number of, numbers.
The relevant ability score being the most crucial, your character level and subsequent proficiency bonus being the second.
As we all know, your proficiency bonus only factors in if you've chosen to be proficient in that skill.
Which of course depends on your backstory, class, feats, and possibly magic items.
As this video is not about maximizing your skill bonus in Dungeons & Dragons, we're gonna keep moving.
There's lots of channels out there who do a fantastic job at that sort of thing. We, however, are not one of them.
So, each skill your character has comes with an associated number to tell you how good you are at it.
During your adventures in Dungeons & Dragons, countless times, you'll come to situations where you're going to be forced or choose to use those skills.
And when you do, you'll roll a d20, add the appropriate modifiers, tell your DM the total, and they'll let you know how you did.
Before we get into that IRL +1 bonus, we're going to do a quick rundown of what the skills are and when they come into play.
Unlike your character sheet, Ben and I aren't going to tackle these in alphabetical order. We're going to go by ability, starting with strength.
There's only one skill directly associated with strength: athletics.
Athletics encompasses all of your lifting, climbing, jumping, swimming, and running.
Dexterity is a bit more robust. It boasts 3 skills attached.
Acrobatics. This covers your balance and tumbling.
Trying to keep your feet under you and how good you are at flipping, diving, and rolling.
Sleight of hand represents your digital dexterity.
Palming coins, stacking a deck, card tricks, the shell game. Think the movement skills that go into a magic trick.
Illusion, Michael. Trick is something a whore does for money.
Good reference.
It's also the skill used when attempting to pick someone's pocket or plant an object on them without being caught, possibly for playing some musical instruments as well.
Stealth is the final dex-based skill. It, as you might imagine, is about being a sneaky.
Unlike sleight of hand, which is reserved solely for your hands, stealth is about being sneaky with the rest of your body, specifically Your feet.
Moving around without making a noise, some might say moving silently, and hiding in, I don't know, say shadows perhaps.
Basically, how well you move without being noticed.
Next would be, and some might even say should be, constitution. But alas, there are no constitution-based skills.
There aren't. I feel like endurance should be a skill, how much punishment and strain you can take before you crack.
Especially considering that concentration checks are con-based, but you know.
Oh well, no time to waste over spilled skills.
Intelligence has 5 skills under its umbrella. 4 of them represent how smart you are. The other, how Sherlock Holmesy you feel.
I love cocaine and playing the violin.
Who doesn't love those 2 things? Right, investigation. This is the catch-all for your CSI skills. It's fine-tooth combing and thorough searching for lice-like bits of information.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's a weird metaphor.
Evidently, Common Core curriculum of Toral isn't the most robust, nor is public education a priority.
Every child, especially the poor ones, left behind and lice-ridden. Toral.
The 4 major areas of knowledge in 5e are Arcana, History, Religion, and Nature.
Guess they're not very big on separation of church and state either. Toral.
Arcana is how much you know about magic, the multiverse, and monsters.
History is how much you know about the days of yore.
Plants, animals, weather, terrain, nature.
What, if anything, you know about goddesses, gods, cults, rituals, general tenets, beliefs is religion.
Wisdom wields 5 skills: animal handling, insight, medicine, perception, and survival.
Animal handling is how well you vibe with, read, train, and in some instances, control animals.
Insight, as it's written in the player's handbook, is your ability to read other people. It's what you roll when you try to determine if someone's intentions are good.
Oh, please don't let me be misunderstood. It's also commonly used as the skill related to your intuition. You know, like flashes of insight.
Diagnosing and treating illness, up to and including death, which I'm not sure is really an illness, but more the natural order of things, is medicine.
Perception governs how keen your senses are and what you notice. Sophisticated palates, good eyes, good ears, sensitive sniffer.
The last wisdom skill is survival, which may as well have been called wilderness survival because that's what it's for, not dying outside.
And saving the best for last, charisma skills. These are my in-game favorite.
Me too.
Deception is the first charisma skill, and it represents how good you are at lying and misdirection.
Intimidation is how scary you are.
Performance is the skill of captivating the attention of others, your stage presence.
The last skill, both of charisma and on our list, is persuasion. It's your charm, etiquette, social grace, and tact.
So, 18 skills that every character in Dungeons & Dragons possesses and uses to attempt to turn situations ever in their favor.
Sometimes you get lucky, roll well, and things work out exactly as you want them to in your head movies.
And others, you don't, and things get much worse.
Before moving this conversation off the table, there is one more thing to cover: improvement.
Now, in 5e, there aren't many ways to get better at your skills. You make choices during character creation, and those set you on a path.
The skills you choose to be proficient in get better as you level up and your proficiency bonus climbs.
Class features and character creation aside, getting better at skills means increasing your ability scores or gaining new proficiencies.
And it's here, on this point of improvement, we're going to pivot and shift our focus.
See, in Dungeons & Dragons, you make a few choices early on and automatically get better at those skills as you progress.
In real life, it's practice. You won't wake up one morning and be like, I feel good, I feel like I hit level 9. I don't spend any time with animals, but I am definitely better at handling them.
Now, this is a good thing because it means that unlike the character you play, who's kind of locked into what they're good at, destined only to be getting better at certain things, you are not.
If you spend time doing card tricks, illusions with cards, you will become better at sleight of hand.
If you read a book or take a course on a subject, you will increase your knowledge on that topic.
This is the first point about real-life skill checks. It's not proficiency bonus, it's practice.
But if you practice something, don't you become proficient in it? And if you keep practicing, don't you become more proficient?
I hate you so much right now.
Only because I'm right. The second point has to do with successes and failures.
In D&D, making a skill check usually leads to things going your way or getting easier. Failing them adds adversity.
On and off the table, succeeding grants us the good feels and a sense of flow. Failing tends to do the opposite.
In-game, a failed skill check is usually low stakes. It means being forced to make a different type or harder check to get out of the situation you just failed yourself into.
Out of game, failure stakes feel higher, and it usually comes with a free crappy emotional cocktail of shame, regret, frustration, disappointment, you know.
Getting over this high-stakes highball hangover takes time. After you do, it's up to you to get back on that horse or quit altogether.
Animal handling. So, while success feels the same in Dungeons and Dragons and life, failure doesn't.
And that's okay. The good news is, rarely does a single success on a skill check make or break a campaign.
Or a life. 99 times out of 100, all a failure means is that you weren't able to do what you wanted to at that time.
Failing a skill check in Dungeons & Dragons doesn't make you a failure. Failing one in real life doesn't either.
And while many skills might be obvious in the way that they can translate off the table, Max and I are going to run through some of our favorite examples. Failures first.
Okay, summer 2003. I'm on summer tour. It's a fish lot. I failed my insight check. Luckily, my buddy made his and proceeded to stop me from trying to buy weed from the dude in the tucked-in Woodstock 99 shit with the very clearly fake dreadlocks.
Dude, that guy was a cop.
Totally. My insight skill is hard won. Shoe rubber and tree bark. Two of you who I doubt are watching know what I'm talking about.
One of my all-time favorite persuasion check fails has to be because of a little thing called alcohol.
I love this story already.
Yes, now people might think a little liquid courage would, say, give you advantage on a charisma check.
That tracks.
Yeah, they'd be right in some instances. A little bit can help you, but you know what doesn't?
A lot?
Yes. I was at a restaurant with my friends and pretty deep into my cups already, and I had evidently failed a perception check to realize such, so I was feeling very confident and being exceptionally loud.
Oh, don't.
Oh, and I was being obnoxiously flirty with and forward with our server. I was like, hey, Cindy, she's back bringing us another round of beer. Come sit over here. Come on, you want to have a sit and talk with us, Cindy? You're the best, Cindy. Cindy, you're just so great. You're just great.
How'd that go?
After about the 5th time of calling her Cindy, one of my friends reaches across the table, grabs me by my shirt lapel, gets my drunken attention, and goes, Ben, it's Sydney. Her name is Sydney. She said it 4 times.
Wow, okay, so really, if we're counting, you failed 3 different wisdom-based skill checks there. Insight to see if she was into it.
She probably was.
Perception to catch her name.
No, not sure what it was.
And another perception to catch yourself.
And possibly a 1 to not read her flippin' name tag. Alcohol, am I right?
Okay, so I've got a good failed deception check for you. One time, with as straight a face as I could muster, I told my parents, no, I didn't throw a party. I swear to you, it was undercooked hamburgers that caused Brian to projectile vomit all over that bedroom.
And how did Linda and Gary take that?
About as well as you'd expect. Okay, let's talk a skill success.
Okay, have I ever told you about the time that I faked my way through an entire opera performance?
Shut the front door. Tell me everything.
Okay. College, music theater major, if you haven't figured that out, and for some reason, someone in the music department thought it'd be a good idea to force all the music theater seniors to be in the music department's opera.
That sounds like a terrible idea.
It probably was. It was the spring before graduation. We all had finals, our own set of shows in the theater department to do, and I remember I got in trouble just for not wanting to audition for the show. They made me show up and made me go to every rehearsal, even though I was in like 5 numbers in the ensemble.
So you've got a bunch on your plate, and then they're like, hey, you're a theater kid, you're good at performing, come do this thing you have no interest in.
That's pretty much how I remember it. So I'm trying, getting in trouble all the time at rehearsals. I'm basically trying to get kicked out of the show, not doing my homework, not learning the lyrics, but they refused to can my ass and they kept me in the show.
Is it wrong that I kind of wish this story was about a skill fail and not a success?
Not wrong. So the night of the performance comes. Luckily, it's just a one-shot. We got to do it the one time. And I remember stepping on stage with all the other music theater ensemble members in this opera, bright lights, you know the deal. And we absolutely nailed it.
Wait. You miraculously learned all your lines and blew them away.
Oh, hell no. I got lucky and rolled 2 20s. 1 for deception and 1 for performance because I faked my way through the entire show and we still got a standing ovation.
That is incredible.
And the best part, this opera was in Italian and I don't speak Italian. Not a lick.
You faked your way through an opera in a different language to a standing ovation. Wow. Okay. I mean, what choice do we have? Ben, take us out with your best fake Italian opera.
Okay, so if you want to fake your way through through an Italian opera for real, all you gotta do is just pretend like you're singing really hard, but in the back of your throat. So you have this like smile on and you can't, because you're working so hard, you turn to the side. Just turn to the side and go. And close your mouth every once in a while. They'll get the gist, and no one will know you don't know Italian.
Hey, thanks for sticking around and watching with us today.
Grazie. Hopefully, we piqued your interest.
And gave you something to think about to help bring you to your peak.
Mea culpa. Let us know in the comments below what we missed, or about any epic real-life skill checks, fails, and successes you've had.
If there's a topic you'd like to see us cover, cast sending.
There's an email link in the description below.
If you like what we do here, roll and hit that subscribe button. Each of you that does, thank you. You have brought our channel closer to leveling up.
Make sure to drop the wardings around that notification bell, and so you won't get skipped and miss your turn this time.
Check back here every Wednesday and every Saturday for more Dungeons & Dragons videos.
Support the channel by casting Bigby's thumbs up. Like this video, that also helps us out. Until then, keep on climbing, adventurers.
And we shall catch you next time up here at the peak.
It sound right, boy.